Welcome to 12 for 12. This year, Sam, Philip, and I have chosen 12 comics that we have all decided that we're going to read together. I've chosen four, Philip has chosen four, Sam has chosen four.
We've all chosen six.
We've all chosen six.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Our first book in 12 for 12. We went with my choice. The boys read Batman Gothic. Obviously, this one was very special to me. It's why I chose y'all to read it. So the reason I chose this one more in depth is because I started reading comics really hard last year, and Batman is a character that I got hooked on, and I just started reading a ton of his early stuff. And this book stuck out to me in particular. And also the fact that Grant Morrison's on it just makes it that much more of a little gem. So, shall we dive in?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. Okay. Batman Gothic. It claims itself as a romance. I want to know what y'all thought about that, because I still don't know what to think about
What?
that.
I don't see where the romance is.
Batman and his dad.
Me and Batman.
Me and Grant
Me and
Morrison.
I mean, I think, I guess it was kind of like, I've thought about this a lot after the book. Like, what did Grant mean by that? But I've also heard a ton of people talk about Grant's writing, and they're like, I don't even know if Grant knew what he meant by that. So it totally could just be an aesthetic thing. But it definitely does set a certain.
It's a love letter from Batman to the city of Gotham. You just don't understand.
I have no idea where the romance comes in. I didn't even get a hint of romance.
nothing.
In this thing.
Nothing is even romanticized. I feel like.
Yeah, it's just more of like, I think, an aesthetic. Like the thing is called Gothic, and it totally fits that really well.
Batman goth chick.
So, if if nothing else, it keys you in because you're like, what in the world am I getting myself into? So, book opens up, begins with guy getting set on fire, hanging upside down.
Tough.
Right? Morrison,
Very
obviously,
romantic.
very, very romantic. Yes, it's totally twisting your expectations. And maybe I should say this before we go any further. I recently watched the first Batman film with Michael Keaton. It was after this movie that they were really pushing Batman to be like a lot darker side. And maybe a little bit before the movie came out too, but I think the 60s TV show Batman had done a lot of damage to, like, it's still cool. He's still Batman. He's never not going to be Batman. But it definitely had gotten a little bit out of hand wacky, and they just wanted to ground the character back again. And that's what the movie did. And then they came out with this line of comics called Legends of the Dark Knight. This is the second story that came out in Legends of the Dark Knight. So, imagine you've known Batman in the 80s your whole life as a kid, and he's kind of this goofy, weird guy. You don't really know what to think of him, but you're getting into him again, and he's this dark, serious character. And if that's the direction they were going for, I feel like this book nails it.
Yeah, especially starting with that man burning.
Yes.
It also creates a really cool villain off the bat.
It's just like classic. Like he's not even paying any attention to him. He's yelling for help, and he goes, "What do you want, a cigarette?" And he throws a cigarette on him and lights him on fire.
Let me add something to what Luke was saying. It's kind of interesting going back and reading this, like with that mentality of like the people that were reading this probably grew up with silly, goofy Batman. But now I feel like we've had the exact opposite, like of our, at least for me, like reading comics. I feel like, especially with characters like Superman, like for a long time, it was really cool to make Superman like, oh, what if he was evil and dark and twisted? And I feel like now we're starting to go back to like, oh, what if Superman was silly and goofy? And I think that's kind of what we're going to be getting with like James Gunn Batman. So it's kind of interesting to see like the shift of the character.
Yeah, and I think it's all
Oh
good.
yeah, I love it all.
It's
Man, no, like you said, it's always gonna be Batman. Like no matter like if he has like shark repellent spray, like it's a Batman gadget. That's awesome. Like that's what I love about the Morrison run actually. Like not just this one, but his whole run is kind of a love letter to just like the whole Batman mythos.
this one in particular um, gets into some elements that are not grounded in
Mhm.
reality, which is totally something that I think would have happened in previous era
Mhm.
Batman. Um, but yet it feels weird here, but it doesn't feel out of
Right.
place. It just feels like we're dealing with something for real and serious, but at the same time, like Batman's, he's the world's greatest detective.
Hmm.
He's gonna figure a way out. It can't have taken place too much longer after Batman first puts on the suit.
Right.
Just the way he acts in this comic.
I agree. It feels super early in his career.
I feel like this is a Batman who is still kind of mad at Gotham. Like this is a fresh Batman who is still learning what the suit means and he is learning how to deal with criminals. Like of course he has like his no kill rule, but that's just ingrained to him because his parents were killed, right? But we're seeing
Yeah,
like what it means for him to don the mask and be the hero that Gotham needs. Like I don't know if you are
yeah,
there or not, but like one of my it was probably my favorite line. It was something I was going to talk about. The first time that we actually see Batman in the comics or like in this comic, he says, "Let me see." He said, "We're all in hell, and I'm the king of hell." And then Batman shows up.
yeah. I, that is a perfect interaction to get into this. But I do want to point out, it's some guy just getting mugged in the
Mhm.
street, right? It's not anything like elaborate. It's just Bruce Wayne, and previously in this first book, Bruce Wayne is chilling at home and he's lounging in a chair in his room and he just looks bored out of his mind and he tells Alfred, "I'm going out." And you see the bat cow. So he can't stand being at home, but he also can't stand the city. And it's just like the struggle of Batman is it's tough.
Dude, I love that we get this kind of. He seems like an urgent Batman. He's like restless. He's like, I gotta go do something. I gotta do something to get out of the house and like take care of the city. It's really
Yeah.
cool. And at the same time, we see that we see the introduction of the villain in issue one, who's like more calculating and has bigger plans than Batman's ready for. Is starting to feel like because it feels like Batman's used to just going out and punching bad guys at this point.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm gonna go out and do this because I feel like I have to, and there are some bad people out there and need beating up. But the villain, who we learn later is a century old, at least. Yeah, big spoilers early on, but he has had time to prep for this, and it's going to really see a shift in Batman's personality throughout this story of like how to combat something this evil and this mystical. It's so cool.
But all the while, I can't help but feel like Batman's still having a little bit of fun with it.
Mhm.
There are like little bits of like when he's spooking people in the alleyway. Like I'm pretty sure that he's got a smirk on his face. Like he's just he loves what he's doing. Um, because he, yeah, the city's horrible, but like he obviously has a drive to do this. But yeah, this villain that Sam's talking about that he's going up against is unlike anything that we've ever seen before. So the book goes on. Right, we get the flashbacks. Did you guys like the flashbacks in
Flashbacks are
Batman
awesome.
Gothic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like seeing his dad, how his dad responded to Batman's childhood trauma with this school teacher. As soon as he hears that Batman's not being treated right, or I guess Bruce at this point, because he's a kid, he swoops in there and there's a panel of him just screaming at the. What is he, the headmaster?
Yeah,
I
something
think.
like that.
Yeah, he's like screaming at the headmaster like about how bad he treats Bruce and pulls Bruce out of the school. And we don't see that guy, and Batman doesn't see that guy for a while after that until he pops up.
Yeah. And when he does, we get some pretty cool
Mhm.
panels of just them. I believe it's that guy, them duking it out on the roof of some guy's apartment. Pretty cool action stuff. Batman, one of my favorite frames. Batman is falling down a building,
Mhm.
and there's like a little Cupid with a spear, and his cape gets hooked, and you can see like he's just hanging on by his cape that's like wrapped around his neck. It's again just reminds me very early Batman. He wants to be big and bad, but there's still that like element of weird, wacky stuff is going to
Mhm.
happen.
I would kind of like to get y'all's opinion on this bat suit.
I think it's
I
cool.
love it.
The
Yeah.
the the darkish green, uh, blue
Oh
green
yeah.
underneath.
Like
It's
yeah,
clean.
it's a very clean.
The artist does
Yeah,
so
the
good.
art is great.
Hmm.
I love the bat design. I am of the opinion that the bat ears should either be really short like this, like we have in this one, or like really long. Like I don't like in between ears. Like I like for them to choose. I want freakishly long or little cute bat ears.
Oh, I get it though. It clicks. It clicks. But I know Frank Quietly is the Grant Morrison partner. I know they're the duo. This artist is the next best thing that I've seen Grant Morrison
Yeah.
paired up with. Because reading the whole new X-Men, he gets paired up with so many different artists throughout it. Nothing tops Frank Quietly, but this is almost equal. This art is so clean, especially when we get the full panel of I think it's issue 2. No, it's issue 3 where we see the entire Batcave
Yeah.
from a POV, or not POV shot, but from a way far wide shot. It looks
Yeah,
so good.
this guy
It
gets
looks
it.
so awesome.
Yeah, that's that frame that I was talking about. So the story goes on, right?
Mhm.
Um, Batman does some detective work with Alfred in his sick-looking Batcave, and they find out there's this cathedral that was built a long time ago. They start to put the pieces together, right? That somehow this guy had something to do with building the cathedral. And Batman sees a ghost for the very first time, or he thinks he sees a ghost.
Mhm.
But in book 3, he goes into this cathedral, and there's just one panel where Batman is screaming his head off.
I love this whole cathedral scene at the end of issue 3. I think it's fantastic. I love Batman looking like he's the world's greatest detective, you know? Like even just like even the pages where there's no dialogue and it's just him snooping around and he's like kind of talking under his breath and he's, looking at the plans and look at what he's gotten written down and he's like unlocking secret doors, it's all so sick. And then
Yeah,
obviously the big reveal at the end of issue 3 when he goes in and sees a bunch of dead kids hanging upside down.
Grant Morrison keeping it mystical and real at the same time. It's awful. It's not just Gotham that is a bad place. It's like the world is an evil place. And I wonder if this is where Batman wonders like at what like to what lengths am I going to do good for the world, you know?
Yeah,
Like
especially when he's having to semi-protect the bad guys too.
Yeah.
Because going back to issue 2, when they're the ones who light the signal, because this Phantom is after them. What's his name again? The Whisper.
Mr. Whisper.
Because Mr. Whisper is after them because he promised he would come for them. So he's starting to come for the bad guys, and they call for Bruce. And Bruce is like, they know he's Batman, not Bruce. but they're like, Batman, help us, and he's like, I'm not helping you.
Yeah.
Like you're bad. You've done so much bad stuff. I'm not crossing that line. I know I'm supposed to save people. I got other people to save. You're bad. Goodbye. So I love that he's like setting these early boundaries of like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the best I can to help the most people, and you're not a good person, so I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Issue 4. We open up. There's a shootout. And guy's just about to get it's actually a hostage situation. And Batman shows up. And the guy is left with a bat signal on his chest, right? Kind of what Sam's talking about. He's still in town working around. And I love, there's a couple more panels later where, again, he busts into this guy's house and he's just there grinning. Because, like I said, I think he gets the most joy in his life out of being Batman, out of seeing bad people to get justice, or when he cracks a case. We go back to the lab and we figure out, like Philip said, he's wondering about these cathedral blueprints. He's in the Batcave figuring it all out. Alfred's feeding him sandwiches. And we find out that this Mr. Whisper has actually been the one that has built the cathedral. He's been plotting for centuries in Gotham to do some evil stuff. We found out in issue 3 that this guy, who Batman has been having nightmares about in this whole story, has actually been alive this whole time, and he's actually been alive for a really, really long time. He's a studying priest, and this priest starts to do his own studying down in the basement, and he starts to get more and more followers. And all of his followers think like he's this all-powerful being. And then they end up sacrificing some of these girls and these kids, and it causes this whole schism in the church that he's in, right? All up until there's a giant plague, in which this guy somehow survives.
It is full anarchy in the church when they start to take over and like go crazy. It's all those like people in power giving into their worst impulses. It is I know there's a shot too where we see everyone just like killing the children, doing whatever they want to everybody there, and it's horrifying, dude, because nobody can do anything to stop it.
Yeah. It goes back to, again, not a romance. Grant Morrison, don't know what you're talking about. But I don't know if Grant grew up in the church or something like that, but he definitely understands that like the church as like a structure itself has a lot of power, and when people say things as a religious figure or something like that, it holds a lot of, whether they know it or not, it has a lot of power. And to see somebody manipulate that and bend it to their will is just, it's one of the most evil things that you can witness. Yeah, we're dealing with a really, really messed up guy.
Yeah. That lays the groundwork for you to want to watch Batman beat this guy to a pulp.
Yeah.
So, turns out that this guy has somehow escaped and brought the plague over with him into Gotham City and laid the groundwork hundreds of years ago. I love how the book makes you think about so many different things. About what are the dangers of going into a place where you don't live and just kind of taking control, and what is the damage that does? Or the people going into places where they don't belong and just causing a disturbance and maybe being hidden for years, but that it can still pop up like 100 years later and it can cause a great big disturbance. But anyways, he gets his big beating, right? And it doesn't go very well. Batman gets strapped down to a little conveyor belt. Um,
This is the most comic-y part of the book that like had me
Yeah.
giggling a little bit
This is
because it
my
was
favorite
Yeah.
part.
the villain being like, all right, you're strapped down to this conveyor, and when I light this candle, it's gonna burn the rope and drop the anvil, and then that's gonna roll the bowling ball, and then it's gonna like crush your head. It was so goofy. I
Yeah.
love
And
that
then just
part. It reminded me so much
just
of
to
old
see
comics.
Batman just like escape it, and it doesn't even like show it in the panel. He's just like out of the ropes.
Yeah.
it's I just counted it. It's literally 3 pages of no dialogue and just this big contraption that Mr. Whisper has set up to
It's
kill
just him, like,
the Batman. And then in the last panel, you just see Batman standing up with like the ropes cut off.
It works being that
Yeah.
goofy because it also, I think throughout the entire story, there's a clear like something ethereal, spiritual pulling the threads. And I think Grant Morrison's like because it's church related. I think he's saying God is pulling the threads in this story, and Batman got out because it was supposed to happen, and this dude is supposed to get dragged to hell because he wasted all these souls and like made a deal with the devil. So he's trying to like get more souls and like survive for a longer time and like pay more souls in debt to the devil so he can stay alive. But it's like something else is pulling the strings here to make sure Batman gets out and stops this dude. I could be thinking way too much into that goofy comic scene, but that's what I got out of it.
No, that's exactly what I like about this kind of stuff. So they have a big battle in the subway, and Mr. Whisper goes bye-bye to a train. It's
He will not be missed.
it is kind of weird. This like he had this whole plan built up for years and years and years. He's got plague dust stored underneath the cathedral, and that's going to be his plan is to release the plague on Gotham.
I looked up when Mr. Whisper dies, and it's not to the train. Like he survives the train, Batman gets away, and goes to the clock, or like goes to the bell tower, and it's when the clock strikes 12 that Mr. Whisper finally dies.
Yes, because he's got to deal with some ethereal being that he has to give this guy so many
Right.
souls in order to live. And he was just going to release the plague, give all the souls to this other being, but he can't do it in
All right,
time.
let's talk about the last 3 pages when Batman gets something
Yeah.
in the mail.
He gets a human heart in the mail, and he seems just kind of okay with it. Like this is a normal
Oddly
Batman
chill.
thing.
He literally goes, oh.
Oh. But he knows
Throw it in the
exactly what to
trophy
do with
room.
it. There's like a recurring poem that's going on in the story, and so he goes back to the church where Mr. Whisper had done all these evil things years ago, and he finally puts to rest, like the poem says, he lays the heart in the waters of the cathedral. It's a weird thing, but Batman feels like at peace at the very end of the book. It's cool because does Batman believe this stuff? Is he paying respects for the dead? Is he how does he feel about all this? It's pretty cool that like I don't know, just to think about like how far he's come in the story as a person who's had to put away his disbelief in order to deal with all this crazy stuff happening around him. That even after it's all said and done, he gets a human heart in the mail, and he's willing to go out of his way to continue along and go with what's happening.
It's also closure on his childhood and all the bullying that the headmaster did to him or the priest. When he gets to throw the heart into the sea and he says like, go in peace, none, you're free. And he gets to walk away from that entirely. It's like closure on everything that he had built up from when he was a kid.
Yeah. I like that. He gets to like leave it all behind. Grant Morrison's a tricky writer. To me personally, I'm always like looking for like what the heck is he trying to tell me, or what is he saying? So maybe we pulled out too much, but maybe that's what he wanted us to do. Either way, I had fun with it.
Yeah, that was a good pick. That was a perfect one to start the 12 for 12 with Batman.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
was such a cool story. Yeah, love it. Ready for the next one. Astonishing X-Men next week.
Yes, we're going to continue our 12 for 12 series. We are all reading Astonishing X-Men, the first 12 series by Joss Whedon. Philip has picked this for us, and so he's going to do most of the talking next time. But we're super excited. I'll give a hint. I've already read it, and I will be probably rereading it because it was that good. Anyways, let us know what you think about Batman Gothic. If you don't know where to find it, get DC Infinite. It's an app on your iPhone that you can get. It's like can't be more than $10 a month. You can get all these stories and more. It's a great deal. Cool. We'll see you next time.
Everybody rise.